What's up? What's up? All right, so you know the drill.
Yeah.
If you're not 18 or over, you know what to do. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this one's for the grown-ups.
You've been warned. All right, let's cut the crap and dive right into this shit.
Let's go.
We're talking Lauryn Hill's Doo-Wop. That thing, a track that's got way more going on than just that catchy beat. Right, we're talking 98.
98, the miseducation of Lauryn Hill drops.
And this song just blows the fuck up.
Huge.
But under the surface, there's this whole social commentary about relationships, self-respect, all the fucked up pressure society throws at us, right?
Seriously. And honestly, I think it just gets more and more relevant as time goes on.
Oh, for sure. So let's break this shit down. The song's structure is interesting as hell. We got verses aimed at women, verses aimed at men, and then this spoken word outro that just ties it all together.
Yeah, and she uses that structure to call out hypocrisy on both sides. Like, Hill is coming for everyone with this track.
No one's safe.
No one's safe.
So verse 1, she goes straight for the jugular. Talking to the ladies, right? About those situationships, you know?
Yeah.
Like those, the one you let hit it and never called you again kind of things. Hill's laying it all out about the games people play and how women get pressured to act a certain way in relationships.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
And what I think is really fascinating is how she uses this religious imagery to make her point, you know, sleeping with the jinn, the sin that did Jezebel in.
Yeah.
She's highlighting the hypocrisy of judging women for their sexuality while men get away with basically everything.
It's such bullshit.
It's total bullshit.
And then here's where it gets really interesting, right? Hill goes in on Eurocentric beauty standards and all that pressure women feel to conform.
Yeah.
You know, hair weaves like Europeans, fake nails done by Koreans. It's almost like she predicted that whole Instagram influencer thing we got going on now.
Totally. I mean, it's still so relevant today. We're still battling with these fucked up beauty standards and the industries that profit off them.
Okay, now let's flip the script and talk about those verses aimed at men. Hill's not holding back. She's pissed, and rightfully so. You know, calling out dudes who are all about material possessions over genuine connection, like more concerned with his rims and his Timbs than his women. Ouch. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, well, it's classic misplaced priorities. Hill's highlighting the superficiality that can just infect relationships where material possessions are valued more than a genuine connection and respect for your partner.
Messed up.
And the way she describes them coming into the club like hooligans, you know, pop and yang. It's like she's calling out this toxic masculinity that's all about bravado and that posturing. Like, look at me, I've got all this stuff. But it's empty.
Right. It's all a facade. And then there's that spoken word outro. Remember that? This woman talking about the difference between loving someone and being in love. It's deep.
So deep. It takes the song to a whole other level. It's not just about relationships anymore. It's philosophical.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you think about love and maturity and understanding how to connect with other humans.
Heady shit, man.
Yeah.
Hill really cuts through all the bullshit.
Absolutely. And remember, this came out over 20 years ago. The fact that it's still so relevant today is mind-blowing.
Yeah, so much of what she's talking about, the games, the double standards, the pressure to conform, it's all still so damn relevant. It's crazy.
Makes you wonder, why are we still struggling with this same shit? What's holding us back from actually evolving? It's something to think about, that's for sure.
Yeah, for real. So we've unpacked the structure. We got a taste of what Hill's message is all about.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to explore.
Oh, yeah. We're just getting started.
We're going to dig deeper into those lyrics, uncover what other gems we can find. Stick with us. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Don't be an asshat and hit that like button. Subscribe while you're at it.
It's wild to think she was calling this shit out back in 98. Like she was ahead of her time.
Oh, totally. Okay, so getting back to those lyrics.
Yeah.
There's this one line that always sticks with me. Don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem. It's like she's telling women to know their worth.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a reminder to not let some shitty relationship or societal pressure dim your shine. Like, you are valuable regardless of what some fuckboy tries to tell you.
Preach. And she doesn't just talk at women either. You know? She goes on to say, now Lauryn is only human. Don't think I haven't been through the same predicament.
Right. It makes her message so much more powerful because it's real, you know?
Wow.
She's acknowledging her own struggles.
Yes, she's been there. She gets it. And then that line, let it sit inside your head like a million women in Philly, Ben.
Yeah.
It's like she's tapping into this shared experience, right?
For sure. Like, she's connecting with all the women across generations who face the same bullshit, the same pressure, the same expectations.
And then, bam, she drops that truth bomb. It's silly when girls sell their souls because it's...
That line is powerful because it speaks to the compromises people make women, especially just to fit in. you know, to be accepted, to achieve some level of success that society dictates.
But it makes you think, like, what are we really sacrificing when we chase that external validation?
Right. Are we staying true to ourselves, or are we letting society define our worth?
Deep. Okay, so let's switch gears and dive into that second verse, where Hill goes after the men. And she does not hold back. I mean, she calls them out for being more concerned with his rims and his Tims than his women.
Ouch. It's all about misplaced priorities, right? She's highlighting how superficiality can just poison a relationship, where material possessions are more important than a real connection or having respect for your partner. It's messed up.
Totally. And the way she describes them coming into the club, like hooligans, pop and yang, it's like she's calling out that toxic masculinity.
Right, like it's all about that bravado and posturing, like, look at me, I've got all this stuff, but it's empty.
Yeah, it's all a facade. And then she goes in on those dudes who are all talk and no action, you know. The pretty face men claiming that they be the big men need to take care of the 3 or 4 kids, and they face a court case when the child's sport late. Damn.
There are real consequences to that behavior. You know what I mean? This isn't just some abstract concept, and Hill's talking about people's lives.
It's about stepping up and being accountable, right? Being a responsible human.
And notice how she points out that hypocrisy, that disconnect between their words and their actions. These guys projecting this image of success and power, but they can't even handle the most basic responsibility.
All a front. And Hull's not buying it.
Yeah.
And then she hits us with that line, stop acting like boys and be men. Mic drop.
Seriously, it's a challenge, a call to action.
She's telling him to grow the fuck up.
Right. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about taking responsibility for your actions and treating others with respect.
It's about being a decent human being.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so we've talked about those verses aimed at women, the verses aimed at men, and now we get to that spoken word outro. It's like the whole song shifts.
The energy changes. It becomes more introspective. We go from these pointed critiques to a deeper reflection on love and relationships.
Like after all that fire, Hill hits us with this truth bomb. You know? Like remember that part where the woman asks, do you think you're too young to really love somebody?
Yeah, and then the other voice is like, no, I don't think so.
Right. Like they're having a real conversation. Right there in the song.
It's a conversation a lot of us have probably had. What does it really mean to be in love? Especially when you're young.
Right. Like, is it just infatuation or is it something more?
And then that voice comes back almost like an older, wiser friend, you know, saying, you're too young to be in love. This is silly. You're infatuated or whatever. You got nice jeans. You wear fancy Adidas.
I love that line. So real.
Yeah.
It's like she's calling out all that superficial bullshit that can cloud our judgment, especially when it comes to relationships.
Like we get so caught up in what's on the surface, the material stuff, that we lose sight of what actually matters.
And then bam, she hits us with that key distinction. It's the difference from loving somebody and being in love with somebody.
That's it, right. The heart of the matter.
It's a complex idea, but it all just breaks it down and makes it make sense.
So that's the distinction, right? Loving someone versus being in love.
Yeah, and she goes on to lay it out. You know, the woman's like, okay, you can love anybody, like your family, your friends.
Right. But when you're in love with somebody, you're looking at it like this. You're taking that person for what he or she is, no matter what he or she look like, or no matter what he or she do.
It's about truly seeing someone.
Yeah.
Accepting them for who they are.
Flaws and all.
And that part where she says, you fall in love. You can fall out of love. You might stop being in love, but you are not going to stop loving that person. It's like, whoa.
It's deep, man. Like love changes. It evolves, but it doesn't just disappear.
Right. It goes somewhere.
And then she adds, maybe sometimes they never been loved before, or they never been in love before. They don't know what the feeling is to be loved.
Damn. Like everyone deserves to feel that.
Yeah.
You know, to be loved, to experience what that's like.
It's a message of compassion.
Understanding.
And then that last line, she poetic, she killed it. We could end that conversation with that, right?
Right. It's like they're acknowledging the weight of what they just heard, you know? He'll drop some serious wisdom in doo-wop.
Absolutely. The song just stays with you.
It makes you think about the games we play, the bullshit we put up with, the pressure to conform.
The double standards.
And how important it is to demand respect, to know your worth, and never settle for anything less.
It's a timeless message for sure.
So there you have it, folks. We've reached the end of our deep dive into Lauryn Hill's doo-wop, that thing. We got real, we got raw, we explored the layers of this track, and hopefully it's given y'all something to think about.
Keep questioning, keep challenging the bullshit, and never stop searching for those genuine connections.
And don't be an asshat. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next